Floors are a big decision. They have to be really durable, easy to clean, ideally comfortable under your feet. I mean, floors and walls make up the large majority of the surface area of your home. So when I started this house, my problem was simple. There were a whole hell of a lot of options, and I had no idea how to narrow them down. But here are the 4 things I knew we wanted. 1, a material that felt bespoke to our house. So this is obviously subjective. We wanted something that seemed like we had thought about it for us specifically, not something that a contractor puts into every house they build. 2, they had to be really durable. I mean, we are not really gentle with our house, and neither is this guy. There's sand from the beach. There's 1 million inches of rain here a year in the Pacific Northwest. So the floors had to be really tough. 3, it had to be budget friendly. Like I've mentioned, we work with them fairly tight budgets. So I needed to know what floors were going to be affordable. And 4, ones that were going to be things that I could install myself. So I wanted to do it. I needed something I felt comfortable installing. Now you might be hiring a contractor or someone to install the floors, but I still think it's imperative for you to know what you want and why before starting those conversations so that you're not pushed in a direction that you don't want to go and end up with something that you're not totally happy with. So if you're in the same boat, here's what I wish I would have known back then. First up, what I didn't choose and why I didn't choose them. So LVP stands for luxury vinyl plank. You see it in a ton of places. And I'm not an expert on vinyl flooring. There are probably some good options and brands. I mean, there seems to be 1,000 of them, so I assume some of them are good. But most of the ones I've seen have been from kind of big box stores and contractors never plan on living in the space. They put them in because they're affordable and they're easy to install and they're durable. I mean, they're plastic, right? So they're water resistant, hard to scratch. They're not gonna be getting a call 6 months down the road saying the floors are messed up. So that's why they put them in. So if durability is all you care about, these may be totally what you want. Personally, and we're talking about a personal decision. This is your house. LVPs just don't feel very special to me. They kind of feel fake. They feel too uniform. They just don't have the character and warmth of other materials. The second one we kind of looked at but chose not to do was carpet. I've seen some really cool uses of carpet. They're really comfortable and nice to walk on with bare feet. But carpet is just so hard to clean. It inevitably starts looking old or out of style. And they're not the easiest to install or to rip up and switch out. So I think you're much better served if you use rugs in spaces like living areas or bedrooms where you want the softness of a textile, but they're easier to clean and you can always just switch them out when you want to update the space. And we'll probably do a video on kind of rugs we have found to liven up a space if you want to look out for that. Next, things we didn't choose but could be great for you. Engineered hardwood floors and actual hardwood floors. So engineered hardwoods have gotten much, much better over the years. The good quality brands are going to have a nice thick top layer of actual hardwood. So generally, if you find an engineered floor that is like 3/4 of an inch thick, it's going to have around a 6 millimeter top hardwood layer, which is what you want. So the hardwood on the top is going to be just like a full hardwood plank and whatever species you choose, so oak or cherry or walnut, whatever. The benefit of an engineered hardwood is that the plywood layer that makes the plank underneath the hardwood makes it much more uniform. So they're going to fit together easier, not have gaps. They're going to be more dimensionally stable, so not going to expand or contract as much as a full hardwood. And they're going to be able to handle water, I think, a little bit better than a full hardwood, because a lot of times they come pre-finished. You can usually get these in long lengths, like 6 or 7 feet. So for a larger room, having longer planks just makes the room feel kind of less busy. I generally don't like, a bunch of little 3-foot planks all over the room. Also, some of these can be sanded and refinished once or twice, so be sure to kind of ask about that or check that out. We've gotten samples from Hardwoods, Hardwood, I think, and Stuga, and they all looked like good products. If you're going to be installing yourself and you haven't done it before, you're looking for a wood, I think this is probably your best option. If you have more building experience and want kind of more control over the finished product, like you want to use, let's say, a hard wax oil or a finish that gives you the ability to sand and do spot refinishing, or if you want to stain the wood to get a very specific look, then you might want to check out just full hardwood planks. They're beautiful. Get them in any species. And if you are choosing that route, I'd probably look into a hardware flooring place near you. But go in knowing what you want, what the width of it is, what the length of it is, what color tones you're looking for, a lighter wood or a white oak or a maple or something darker like cherry or walnut. If you need help with that design part, so knowing what you want, check out the videos on the design framework we have to help you start kind of making those decisions and getting clear on the vision. Finally, so here's what we did choose for this house. And let's talk about the cork first. So if you've seen any of the photos of the house on these videos, you know that we like cork. We use it all over the damn place. It's a really warm material. It's very, very eco-friendly, and it's pretty easy to install. So there are a million patterns and colors of cork that you can get. Maybe you want something really unique that looks like this. We wanted something that looked kind of more natural, like the more natural state of cork. So we just went with something kind of dark brown in color and a very simple kind of traditional pattern of the grain. We also got these with a hard wax oil finish. With the hard wax oil, what it does do is that you can kind of spot refinish it. So some areas may get scratched, they're going to be a little bit less durable, but then you can reapply some stain and oil to those areas and get them looking a lot better. So that said, if you put heavy stuff on top of it, like bookshelves or things like that, it will make dents in cork over time, and dogs are going to scratch it. We were good with that in this area. Like I said, we like things that show a little bit of age, that kind of patina and show that people actually live in a space. We got our cork at Duro Design. They aren't the cheapest cork flooring you can get, but it was one of the only ones we could find that had the hard wax oil finish. And since we're going for something that we wanted to be very matte and natural looking, that was important to us. Also, we use the same cork flooring planks to go kind of up walls and around the bed to make things feel a little bit more bespoke and built in, which I think adds some value to the house. Now let's talk about tile. People have a lot of opinions on tile. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it can be really beautiful, and I think it can be super durable, water resistant. In terms of that, it's really hard to beat. Tile is pretty labor intensive to install. I'm not going to go into kind of decoupling membranes and thin sets and grouts in this video, but there's a few steps with tile that you need to plan. Totally doable, but yeah, it's going to take a little time to kind of prepare for it. For this house, we chose these really affordable porcelain tiles for 2 reasons. This terracotta red color is one that we had identified in our design framework before we started as working within the space really well. Also, it added some texture and pattern to the house with the lines in the tile. My wife loves the artist Agnes Martin, so these kind of tiles with grids we thought could add some kind of subtle visual interest to the space. So if you've watched the Design Framework series, we talk about simplifying your materials to create cohesion across spaces and save money. And so this is what I mean by that. We use these tiles in the entryway as kind of a tile rug, really. And then we use them here underneath the wood stove. And then we use them here for the shower. And we also made some benches out of what we had left over so that it does create this cohesion throughout the space and simplifies things to a few materials, which saves you money. It's durability, water resistance. There's just so many colors, natural choices out there. I think it can work in a bunch of different contexts. Tile's great. Okay, now let's talk about what we used for the majority of our floors, and that's microcement. So microcement is pretty remarkable in terms of material science. It's hard like concrete, it is concrete, but while being really thinly applied, it also is elastic enough that it doesn't show kind of cracks at that kind of thin layer. And so what we love about this stuff is you can use it just about on anything. Wood subfloors, old concrete slabs, you can use it over old tile. If you do the proper steps, you can change the look of a lot of spaces. We use it on this vanity counter as well as on the tub surround, and really like that it creates that continuity throughout the space. It's really hard wearing, so once you seal it, it's basically impermeable. It's easy to clean. If you're interested in a deeper dive on how we installed the microcement, let me know in the comments. I'll make a video just for that. So that's the breakdown of a good chunk of options out there. I hope that gives you some ideas. If you know of some other options worth checking out, let me know. I'd love to learn about other stuff out there. And if you're looking for a place to start with the design of a project, watch those design framework series, download the template with the link below. And if you have a project that you want some more personalized help with, let us know. We would love to talk about it.